The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. Doesn't matter whether you're in Martinique or Mozambique. We love to come to you at this time. She's broke. Don't know why she's broke, but she's broke just the same. So let me see if I can unbreak it. No. Well, that worked. What about this one? Nope. Didn't work. I'm not exactly sure why, but does not play files of this type. Well, the file hadn't changed. Anyway, we'll continue on upward and onwards. What else do we have out here? Well, if you just looked at the S&Ps in the last, 10 minutes or so, Democrats, House Democrats, let me put it that way, are talking to walk away. They're leaving tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And, of course, since they're in the House, every one of them is facing an election. So they're out of there. On delay quickly. And I don't think that there was ever really a chance. I was kind of surprised that so many people were talking up the possibilities of all the politicians kind of reaching out and giving a big hug and singing Kumbaya. I put that as a rather low probability over the last week. I dislike them running and front running a lot of this. But I can understand politically why some people would want to push the odds of it going up and the others push the odds of it going down. There's always a political angle to anything in Washington, D.C. As somebody put it today to me, the biggest business in the world is the U.S. government. What else do we have going on here? That's kind of it right now. We're basically flat on the S&Ps after being up 25 or 30. Volume was never confirming, at least today. We're doing about 5.8 billion shares as we start the show. But a volume the last few days, the only volume that we had was kind of a big sell-off or attempted sell-off yesterday. But certainly the pop this morning offered an opportunity to take some downside plays on. I added one in the daily newsletter. I think it's going to do okay. We'll talk about that when we complete it. But that's about it. We've got some other things going on, some more IPO-ish things coming out. AGCUU up 21% so far today. Some of the ones that came out earlier in the week that we've talked about, Asan, it's down 9-10%. VLDR is down about 6%. Palantir is down about 1%. $9.39, of course, came out at $7.50, but that's the big one. I think at this level, it's worth about $25 billion, which is, if you're talking about me, that's some serious dough. Talking to the government, that's a rounding error. So we shall see. Anyway, I just think that we probably fade all the way into Friday's close from now, unless something drastically changes. Don't think that there's a lot of brankmanship to be had. They'll vote on whatever they want to vote on, and then they'll amscray. But, I don't know, especially for the hardened people at the very edges of the parties. No one was going to be happy if they made a deal. And I think we've got kind of that going along. So give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can always put a message in the den. And what else do we have? That's about it. We're hanging out just about flat on the S&P. And what else do we have? Got some emails already coming in. Let's do a little history. I got about 3 minutes here. Let's do a little bit of history. I'll kind of clean up my email basket right now. And we'll get ready for some of this other stuff coming in. Okay, we got that. Got that. Okay. History, which we do most days. And it doesn't play. I don't know why it hates me today, but it certainly does. And that vexes me when I can't do my history, which I like to do. I'll restart the program and see if we get anything more.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
It is history, and it doesn't really repeat exactly. It does kind of rhyme. But one of the biggest things going on was on this day in 1962, Johnny Carson takes over from Jack Paar as host of the late-night talk program, The Tonight Show. Johnny Carson went on to host the Tonight Show starring himself, Johnny Carson, for 3 decades, becoming one of the biggest figures in entertainment in the 20th century. I kind of like Jay taking over, which he did the next night after this. I think it was like a Thursday night or something, because I can remember Jay being on Friday night. But one of the most interesting things that I ran across in my travels out on the West Coast in Hollywood was the hunt for some of the original shows. Back then, the tape and the tape machines that did it were in their infancy. But even back then, in 1960s dollars, literally the magnetic tape that went into these machines was not cheap. Maybe $50 for a tape. And that was back in the $60 when people were making $1 an hour. So you got to look at that and say, okay, well, do we reuse them or do we save them? Well, they made a pretty bad decision, especially in that first couple of years, not to save any of those shows. In fact, probably until they got into about 1966, very few of those shows, unless something really spectacular happened, they did not save. But one of the biggest fares on deep cable these days is replaying a lot of those old shows. I would go in, I think, circa 1996 to the control room at the Tonight Show and start installing a bunch of equipment, or one of our dealers did. And I came in. We were adding something that I actually had designed and putting it in. So I got to go in there and watch the show with Jay, walk around backstage. I thought I was big. I thought I was a Hollywood mogul, is what I thought. Nah, not so much. Jay was very nice, though. He did shake my hand because he didn't know who I was. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
So we kind of dipped down, at least for a minute, on the negative side of the S&P cash, but not doing much. We're basically unchanged. NASDAQ up 93 still, probably because it's the least affected by this. Of course, most of those bigger companies in the S&P 500 would be the recipients of a lot of the largest, now gestating in the bowels of Congress. Wow. I'm going to have to write this stuff down. That's Power Trading Hour gold when it comes to my verbosity. Anyway, we'll take a look at some other stuff. But yeah, it's very interesting to see the market not move much other than the S&P on this. The sit rep, there's only one thing to really talk about: volume light, up and down, concentrated in very few stocks. Even yesterday, the advanced decline line was kind of flat. A lot of stuff in here that makes it kind of hard to really get too excited about doing anything up and down. But my belief is that this will slowly bleed into Friday's close. And, 3,300, if nothing happens, could that be it? I think it could. But again, I'm putting a fairly low assessment that they make any deal. What could happen is that they make a deal and everybody flies back for one day, passes it, and then goes back home. It may take facing the ire of the electorate, those folks out there with their pitchforks and shovels, to upset the masses. Anyway, so I'm figuring that even if they made a deal, you're probably talking 4 or 5 days, and everybody has to come back, fly back. So that's probably maybe Wednesday next week. So I think we could go into Monday still knowing that there was no deal. CNBC, yeah, the vote that's on the Pelosi vote, which will not pass. Saw some people talking about a $1.6 billion deal that might peel enough Republicans out on the Senate to get it through the door. But that's another $600 billion and mostly wasted spending if you look at what the Senate Republicans are saying. And, of course, vitally necessary if you're on the side of the House Congress. Okay, so let's start looking at stuff out here. Question about on Boeing. Again, long term, I think this probably does fine. Short term, we've been talking about this thing making a fairly decent low. I would love for it to go sideways and everybody quit talking about it for a while. Got up to 172.76. It's trading 166 right now. I'd love for this thing to try to base out, and I mean literally bore everybody to death for maybe a month or two around 160, 165. But as far as I can tell, probably in a trading range for a while. If you saw any of the news, they did get the FAA check ride out of the way yesterday. And the only thing they're really waiting for now, even in the United States, is a program for training the pilots on some of the new features. I actually know and have a good pilot buddy, and he kind of talked me through most of the changes. And for what these guys have to know already for flying a piece of equipment with 1.5 million parts, moving parts, actually, I think it's 1.5 million, something like that. Either 1.5 million parts or 1.5 million moving parts. Can't remember. Is pretty straightforward. And so probably hour and a half in the simulator, they will be done. Again, the 737-800 Maxes, whether they fly them for passenger airlines or not, certainly freight is one of the bigger businesses right now. And these things are, I'm going to say 15, 20% more efficient in flying. So they'll just pull the seats out, shove the stuff full of it. But if you can save $5,000 or $10,000 worth of gas on every plane flight, and you can do that 400 times a day, I mean, occasionally you're talking real money. And that's just on freight. Certainly with people, as that slowly comes back, they'll move into that. At least you're not losing that money or losing as much. So there is a lot of reasons to get those back in. I think there's about 400 of them in the United States that would be ready to fly. Another 400 ready to be sold to end user customers. Question is how quick that goes through. But probably the worst in for Boeing, I suspect, even, no matter what happens with all the rest out here. I don't think there's a lot going to go on. Up 3 points on the S&P cash. Okay, other issues. Did I get other emails? May have. Okay. Got another email here. Okay. Let's start looking at some of the big boys out here and see what's going on, see if there's any reaction. Microsoft gapped down a little bit today, gapped up a little bit today. Not a lot of juice. This is basically back to about the 50% retracement level when we look at it. So not much going on here. 214.56 was 50%. You came to 213.99. Close enough for government work on that. So not bad. Energy's about the same on the way up. It's way down. So far, not suspecting that there's a whole lot in this other than maybe you're at least temporary resistance. Support probably comes back in about 208. Maybe 205-ish on this, but they continue to do just about every single thing correct that they can do. Okay. Let's see what else we have as we look through it. Okay. Okay, we looked at Microsoft. Let's look at Amazon real quickly. Yeah, you got the same thing. You're kind of up on lighter volume back into yesterday's high. 32.11 was a 50% retracement on that one. You got to 32.14. So that's about it at the moment. You basically hit these 50% retracements. And for the most part, taking a big yawn. I think we could get back to 3,300. I think we could probably do that maybe tomorrow or by Monday if nothing happens. It's not the end of the world. They probably have about 30 days to get this done. But it will always be, what's hanging over the market. The longer it goes, probably the weaker the market gets. Back in
If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Got a question from the Den about GRVY. This is a South Korean, Japan, but mostly kind of a Pacific Rim gaming company that is headquarters in Seoul, South Korea. They've got a lot of games, but they're all kind of PlayStation, third-party games. It's very hard for me to get excited about getting into this game with the new Xboxes coming out. So I'm not a big fan of this. PlayStation does sell stuff. It does do better in the rest of the world, but they don't have any kind of the numbers that they put up here in the United States for gaming on Xbox or PCs. So, if you looked at the value of the thing, maybe there could be something there. For me, I'd have to have the thing come back to about $100 before I'd look at it again. That's basically where support is. Not a bad company. It's just, especially with what's going on, not near the disposable income in the Pacific Rim that we have here in the United States. So I would say things are probably going to be tougher for them than gaming companies here in the United States. In fact, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the gaming companies right now. I think a lot of the money is going to be spent on new hardware, like NVIDIA and AMD. Maybe there'll be some new games out that really get people going. Game companies are kind of like Hollywood, and that is that Hollywood used to have, when they had theaters, they'd call them tent poles. And that is that you'd go and watch one movie and then maybe go watch another one a couple weeks later. If they could drag you into one, they know maybe you'd watch two or maybe another or two that summer. So the whole idea of having these big blockbusters was making money on the blockbusters, but also getting you to the point where you'd probably come back for seconds or thirds. And right now, maybe there'll be a game out that really does it, but I don't see it on the third-party kind of thing for PlayStation or the rest, and mostly focused from their earnings in the Pacific Rim, which I think may continue to suffer for a while. This broke. It's done it with pretty decent volume. Like I said, though, you probably want to look at this one at $100 if you get a nice pullback on it. Other than that, wouldn't be too excited about it. No. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of it. I think after you pay $800 for or $700 for a new NVIDIA card, so you can play the big games, that it's much more. You're going to spend a lot more on maybe a single big title than a lot of these smaller titles. Now back to what we are into already in progress. If I can get past all this stuff. Did I do that? Okay, I think I did. The big losers today all look kind of like they are in the energy space. We'll go through them here. But biggest loser today. Do I have it? Ta-da. Thought I had it here. Winner, loser. I don't have it. I don't know where it's at. Anyway, Halliburton, all these energy stocks, all breaking through the previous lows. You got volume on Halliburton today. Previous low is 20 million. You're already into it with 19 million. This actually looked like a very good sector the last couple of days, and it looked like it was going to hold, but it did not today. Question is whether or not this is going to be a washout. You come back in this, back into some kind of level. Valero, another one down on heavy volume today. It's back into a gap that had 6 million shares. You already have 8. So this energy sector continues to show some weakness. Other big losers today are HP, down about 7% on the day. Helmerich and Payne, not the HP you think of. I think they probably made a mistake getting HP for the symbol, but that's me. UTX down about 6%. As we look at that, yeah, we're up 13 points on the S&P cash now. Raytheon. See what we do here. Come on, clean that up. Okay. MPC, another one in that space. quick look at that. I want to turn that off. Okay, Marathon Petroleum, it's down. Maybe one of the better looking ones of the bunch. You wanted something less than 10 million shares or even 6.6 million shares. If you're being charitable, about 5 million so far, but doesn't look like it's going to reverse before the end of the day. So you got to watch out for that one. Okay, what do we have out here? HFC. Holly Frontier. The space is just getting kilt today. 1859. So you're basically back into these major lows from March on these. This one may be able to get in there with lighter volume today, so you want to check that out at the close. BKR. Baker Hughes also. I mean, they actually started to look good Friday. We had pretty good rig numbers. Things looked like maybe they were going to turn around and this would hold, but did not today. Light volume, though, on the turn. This got back into $13. This may be a fake breakdown. Another big loser of the day is Oxy. It's down 3%, maybe 3.5%. Occidental Petroleum. Light volume on this one, though, so it doesn't look as bad. Now, when we go to the winter chicken dinners, we were talking about this one, I think, last week. Cody up about 6.5% on the day. I would have liked to seen this thing maybe go a few more days sideways, but a nice pop, 6.5%. This, of course, was the Kardashians' move into retail for cosmetics. And it did well for a little while. To Under Armour, up 5%. I don't know if there's a whole lot other than this thing's just been beat up. Not much in the way of volume today. Kohl's probably up a little bit on the back of Bed Bath & Below, which actually went higher today. Kohl's very interesting in that you had a huge volume day down with twice the volume. Didn't really do anything the day after that, and now kind of going up, but you don't have a lot of volume so far. Maybe these things are washed out, but I don't know if they go higher. We'll be back in a minute.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we'll look at some more out here in FLX. And you got a nice bounce today in Netflix, but no juice so far for what you're doing. Up on 5 million shares, going back into down days of about 7 million shares. So maybe similar volume from the downside. You did break the previous low. You did break it with about the same volume, which generally means that at best you're probably in some kind of trading range, which is about 460. So my guess is you're probably fairly close to hitting a retrace level on Netflix. We pointed this one out, which is just how good these confluence levels are. And so you're going to get your bounce on the confluence level. The problem is that even though we've got kind of a muddy confluence level on the top here, 519 is kind of the top on this. So if this thing started acting like it was kind of weak, it could come back to $490 on just a 50% retrace of this move up from 458 and make maybe an ABC that could get it back to the higher highs. I've always been thinking and still think that these particular stocks in this sector are going to have problems once the new video stuff quits coming out. They weren't able to film for 6 months. They pushed some of the stuff together. They spread some of it apart to kind of make it not so evident. But there's only a few things new coming out on Netflix and Amazon right now. I think that will be a bigger problem. Netflix, of course, is a one-legged stool. If that loses, if they lose that, it's going to be some big downsides over the next year for earnings as people probably get away from them. In my opinion, anyway, they are vulnerable. Quick look at Apple for Robert. As we talked about how many of these confluence levels were pretty good. You hit them, you reversed. You got up to 117.72. You just have no juice today. Got through the 382 retracement yesterday. 120.54 is the 50% retracement on Apple. I think it could go sideways for a while and gain some strength. Long term, I don't think it has as many problems as many people talk about. We talked about Micron yesterday. So for Steve, I would say go back and look or check out that video yesterday for my discussion about Micron. Okay, what else do we have? Do I see anything different in GLD? Not a whole lot. So far, the volume off this bounce has been pitiful. Now, maybe something changes, but you got 5 days of pitiful. Since it hit the 173.77 low, you haven't had any juice coming out of it up to the 179.50 of today. I would say more than likely what you want to do is get back into this candle of September 24th with light volume and potentially have a low where we could go higher, maybe into the end of the year. If it does continue to go higher, you have a fairly decent confluence level of about 183 to 181 and a half. If it gets to that, all the volume falls out. You might consider a short position there, although I'm not one to be short gold just in case something nasty happens. If you were going to short it, I would say either options or some way with defined risk. Okay. That's some other stuff. Okay. We talked about Datadog, so we'll go back and look at this one today. Yesterday, tried to spike the high, huge volume, didn't quite make it. The close was 102, so you did close above the the 98.99 high that went back to July 9th. You did so on 5 million shares. Went through it with 28 million shares yesterday. Just kind of hanging around here at the highs, though, with Datadog. I don't like that you weren't able to hold those so far. We talked about Microsoft. Question about Qualcomm, just slowly creeping higher here. Looks like it is going to try to test or retest the 123.93 high. That's a September 2nd on that. So again, you have to kind of keep an eye on that. Let's update this, see what we got. Okay, still up 14 on the S&P cash. Went back to unchanged after being up about 30 or 40 points after the news of no deal in Congress. But just no volume either way right now. Had some decent volume on the downside, but it pretty much waned. Okay, look at some other stuff here. Question about the TLT. And again, email me at path@tfnn.com. As we talked about before, pretty good area of support for the TLT with confluence, which is two Fibonacci levels, the 382 of one to the 618 of the other. This thing comes right in at about 160. You bounced off of that back on August 28. It looks like you're coming back to it, although not a lot today. But my guess is you're going to get a retest of that 160.64. If it breaks, 153 is the next real level, I suspect, of support. But not a lot of juice up, not a lot of juice down. Maybe it just goes back and retests at 160.64. Okay. Didn't that flex to that? Okay. Question on the IYT. Keep them coming. I'll answer them as quickly as possible. Okay. Okay. This is where you really have to worry about some downside. Support comes in at 175, 177. That's where that confluence level is. If we get a decent close or a rapid movement down in the IYT here, that's where you have to probably suspect that over the next 2 weeks, the IYT is coming, that 174, let's call it 175 to 177 area. Looks like that would be support. The energy companies being so weak today gives me some pause. But again, all you need is a few NASDAQ stocks to drive the market a little bit higher. But we shall see. Okay, what else do we have on the list of stuff? When we get back, we'll look at SSYS, the 3D printing company, as we return.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as,
whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and a Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. With markets trading with extreme volatility and peaks and troughs everywhere, regardless of what you're looking at in the markets, this is a great time to see the type of analysis Basil Chapman delivers for his subscribers every market day with the Opening Call newsletter. Basil has been analyzing markets, providing his take for subscribers to his trading services since 1984. Every morning, Basil publishes an update for his subscribers, along with weekend and evening updates when warranted. The Opening Call provides traders a daily market overview with regard to the direction of the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, along with specific recommendations, including stops and targets. You also gain instant access to Basil's subscriber webinar archive from earlier this year, a dark cloud cover, and essential market analysis. Ride the Chapman wave today by signing up for the Opening Call newsletter on the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we've got that, what you call the ticking time bomb scenario as we go into Congress, or at least the House, leaving to go back and campaign for the next few weeks. So nothing can get done, at least on that side of the aisle. Of course, the Senate will be going on a little bit farther, since it's once every 6 years. Someone will face re-election, so 2/3 of them can always hang around, although they don't all do that. But you can get some things handled there. But all spending bills, of course, must come from the House. So them leaving kind of closes the door on maybe a spending bill, but they could come back. But they'll have to make that deal while everybody's home campaigning. Anyway, up 17 points on the S&P cash. Again, the bounce pretty much all, and then no volume. Dow's up 44, NASDAQ's up 158, Russell's up 18. So Stratasys, just looking at the bounce back here, you needed to test $12.18. Let's get this down a little bit. You needed to test $12.18. That was 1 million shares. You got into it with 1.2 million shares. So what you want it to do now is come back and retest that on maybe 500,000 shares. and see if you got a bottom. But until then, really don't have much of anything in that chart. So we'll see how the close comes in. I think a lot of people are making a pretty large bet that there's something happens. I'm not that sanguine, if I'm using that word correct, on any big group hugs before Friday's close. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. We will see you here tomorrow. I will return. It's like that general in the Philippines.